everyone, we have discussed about Azure AI custom vision in our previous session. Today, I'm going to discuss about Azure AI services document intelligence. If you look at, there are multiple AI services in Azure platform, which I'm going to cover each and every concept in detail. So today, as I said, I'm going to cover about this document intelligence. Before we deep dive into that document intelligence, let's talk about the use cases in the real-time applications in the industry sectors, right? So for example, in the healthcare industry, this document intelligence can be used to extract data from medical records, insurance claims, and invoices, which means you'll be submitting claims, you'll be submitting medical records to the insurance companies where they're not going to validate it manually. So whatever that you submit, whether it is a written format or whether it is a printed format document, this document intelligence is going to fetch the information that they need to approve the claims. Okay, that is one use case. And in the financial sector, it can be used to extract data from loan applications, tax forms, and financial statements. So, if we consider, if you wanted to get any loan from the banks, they may request you to provide the statement of your bank. So, in that case, if you submit the statement, they're going to see the transactions on that based on the values that they need. Let's say the salary credited date and what is the amount that it has got credited. So they will fetch that information using this document intelligence instead of going through each and every transaction in that statement. Okay. Similarly, in the retail industry, it can be used to extract data from receipts, invoices, and shipping documents. Okay. So, not only the financial sector, healthcare industry, or retail industry, there are wide variety of industries that has been consuming this Azure AI document intelligence, including government, education, and legal services. Okay, so let's say if you fill the forms manually when you are applying for any job or if you are applying for any government requirements or government applications. So when you write the data using the pen and if you submit that, and if all that data needs to be processed manually, it will take a lot of time and which will delay in the governance. So using this kind of AI tools, they can fetch all the required data from the applications that you have provided, and they'll be able to analyze the data using these tools, and they can get benefited uh, by approving the required applications, right? And they can calculate the eligibility and everything. So if you consider this document intelligence versus data entry operators, so data entry operators will take much time to have that data analyzed by entering into the required application format, whereas document intelligence will be easily gathering the information, and within no time you can have the required data and proceed with the business. So let's see how we can configure this document intelligence and how we can train based on the documents that we have got. Okay, so as you know, this document intelligence is an Azure AI service that applies advanced machine learning to extract text, tables, and structures from the documents automatically and accurately. Okay, it can be used to accelerate information extraction from documents. It can turn documents into usable data. Let's see how we can use this document intelligence and how we can configure the required documents, how we can train it. Okay, so let's click on create. So here it needs the resource group, and the creation of this document intelligence is very simple. After the creation, we need to understand the concepts which are there under each and every service. So let's see about it. So here I'm going to use the resource group which is already there, and I'm going to use the location as East US, and I'm giving this document intelligence name as like demo di1 2 something random number, and you can use the pricing tag which is a free or standard as 0. So I'm going to use this standard as 0, and whereas I've got the credits in my tenancy, I'm going to use this. If you wanted to see the full pricing details, here you can click on this and it will navigate you to a different tab, and you can see the types of document intelligence services pricing. So for free web service, you can use all document types, and 0 to 500 pages free per month. Okay, similarly we've got customized extraction, customized classification. So based on the model that you need to train your documents, these charges are applicable. So we'll see what kind of models are there, and then we can come back to this pricing section and you can understand it easily. All these options, and let me click on next. And as usual, do you want to access this document intelligence from all the networks? If yes, you have to select this option. If you want to go through this selected networks only, you have to use this one, or you wanted to use it through a private endpoints or things like that, you can use this option where it will ask you to create a private endpoint. Okay, so I've explained you how to create a private endpoint in my Azure administration playlist. You can go through that. So I'm choosing here all networks, click on next, and I'm not using any of this system manager entity or user assigned identity. So I'm going with the status as off, whereas you can grant access to the resources by using these identities. I'm not going with this option. Okay, so let's focus only on this document intelligence part. Next, and review and create. It will validate and give you the final update here, and then click on create. It will take a minute or two, so which we can use as document intelligence after the creation. So this document intelligence service creation is complete. I am clicking on this go to resource. It will take you to this document intelligence service. So here also you have got various options to consider, like activity log, access control, tags, and things like that. In order to create this document intelligence, you need to have a contributor role for this user account with which you are trying to create, or you need to get document intelligence contributor role, or a tenancy or subscription contributor role to create this. So I've got this contributor role permissions on this tenancy, for which I'm going to use this document intelligence. So here you can see from the overview page, there is an option called document intelligence studio. So in order to work on this document intelligence service, you have to go through this document intelligence studio. So click on this, try it. It will take you to the next console, next window, and where we are going to work on this. After you click on this document intelligence studio, it will navigate you to this second page where it will have all the details about document intelligence. Okay, so there are a predefined, or we call it as pre-built models, where Microsoft is already trained with these models. If you have a similar requirements for your business, you can use these models instead of creating a custom models. So custom models are nothing but the document formats which you might have may not be relevant to this pre-built models, which means you need a customized models to extract the data from the documents. You might have an applications, let's say the invoice number, purchase date, and um, the product items and things like that. You wanted to capture only that information from the documents that you have got as part of your business needs. In that case, you can train this document intelligence using this custom extraction model or custom classification model. So before we train, let's look into this available options. So I will click on this document analysis. So this is going to extract text, tables, structures, and named entities from the documents. Okay, so I'll click on this try it out. It will navigate me to the options which I have got, like so it is trying to log into this subscription. Sign in. Just a second. Okay, so once you sign into this tenancy, it will ask you to create a resource for that document analysis. Okay, so here I'm selecting the subscription and I'm choosing the resource group, and also I'm selecting this document intelligence or cognitive service resource. So here I've already created this document intelligence service. I've selected this one. Click on continue and finish. So these are the sample documents that you can use to analyze instead of uploading your data to this subscription. Okay, so let's say I will choose this profile, got it from the sample documents. I will run analysis. Now let's see what kind of data that we get out of this analysis. Okay, so once you analyze, as this is a predefined model for this document intelligence, which is a read model, now the data has got populated here in this section after we run this analysis. Okay, you can see this profile, and as soon as you click on this, it is taking you to this option where it has got selected. Okay, and this is about the profile and the contact number, and then this contact details. This is just reading the document. Now why do we need all this? Why do we need to read this document? To I mean, in order to go through this entire document, it will take a lot of time, and you wanted only some information, and which you can get it by using this kind of analysis. Okay, so let's take a few more sample documents. Let me analyze this one, and this is also got trained using this inbuilt model, and you can see this paragraph, purchased by, paragraph, and address. Each and every option has got populated here. So I'm going to show how to train this document intelligence using custom model as well, but for now, as we are exploring the existing options using this sample documents. Okay, you no need to train any of these models. You need to just use based on your requirements. That's it. Now let me come back to this document intelligence studio, and here I'm going to use general documents, so which is going to extract a value pairs and structures from the document. So here also I'm going to use the sample documents only, because instead of uploading these files and again you're getting all this from this analysis, I've got the documents readily available here. I click on this run analysis, which you can find it after analyzing this document. You can see here, yeah. So As soon as you select this value here in the right hand side, the fields, you can see this is getting highlighted in this document as well. Okay, so address, the start date, everything will be populated. So this is just a sample document, right? Okay, so you can see what content has been fetched out of this document here in this content, and this is the fields and selection marks. If you wanted to, even it is a predefined model, you can select whichever is needed or whichever is not needed, so that you can have the required documents data from this analysis. So a result, it has got converted into this JSON format, which you can use it for the various purposes. If you want to integrate it with any APIs, you can use all this. Okay, there is a code which is generated using this analysis. Similarly, if I go back to this document intelligence studio, so here I've got pre-built models as well. So these are just like document analysis models which we have seen just now: read, layout, and general documents. So these pre-built models are also required, where you can identify, let's say I wanted to use health insurance cards, right? So if I submit a claim and the insurance company will not look into this card. However, they will scan this, and using that scanned image, they are going to get my data into their application forms, so that it can validate automatically without looking into this identity card manually. So now I'm going to use this run analysis. You can apply, or you can upload your identity card as well, and you can test it. Okay, so I'm not doing it now. Here you can see the amount, which is 1500, co-insurance max, which is 1000. Okay, so the group number, which is ID number, whatever you call, here it is ID number, uh, insurance company, and the employer, everything will be there here in this sample document. So similarly, because this is just an image, right, I have taken a photo and sent it to the insurance company to claim, or I have sent it to the hospital, okay, for a treatment. So now they are going to use all this in the backend. Now if I go back to this another pre-built model, so let's take about receipts. Okay, so there are multiple receipts whenever you uh, go on a trip for a company to visit a customer or to visit the business requirements locations. Okay, so you might be spending something there, and you wanted to submit it in your office again to claim. So in this case, you will be just sending the receipts, and they're going to check all these receipts using this kind of tools. If you have hundreds of receipts, and if one data entry operator, or if multiple data entry operators need to analyze all this data, it will take a lot of time to get your claim approved and get the amount back. Okay, so now if I can analyze using this document analysis, document intelligence, it will fetch the data based on the trained model. So you can see here, merchant address, merchant name, total, everything will be there. The transaction time, date, everything will be fetched. Okay, so now how can I use this data? So you might be getting a doubt saying that, okay, everything is fine, you're analyzing the data using this analysis tool, but how can I use this data? So which is where you are going to integrate this document intelligence to your web applications through APIs, so that whenever we analyze here in this, or whenever they submit it through the application, by default all the required fields will be filled using this document intelligence. Okay, so we're not going to look at API configuration, things like that, because of the limited resources that we have got on this labs. So now let me go back to this pre-built model, which is a taxation, right? So you might be filling the tax returns every year, and if I look at, if I submit a form here, let's say there are multiple forms, and all of these are US related tax forms. So I will analyze this document instead of going through each and every option that I've got here in this document. Run analysis. So it's going to analyze this document quickly, and then it's going to give me the information which is already trained and using this document intelligence studio. So all these are pre-built models. Okay, so you can upload your documents as well if you have got it readily available with you. Based on these formats, it's going to analyze. Okay, so I will also present how to train this document intelligence based on the documents that you have got. Okay, so this is about this document which has got analyzed, and we have seen the output, and you can see all this result in this JSON format, and you can see the code as well, but here there is nothing in this. Okay, now so you can see the business cards as well, and again this is also a predefined model. So someone has sent you some visiting card, and now you wanted to get that data into your database to call them back again. Okay, because if you keep this and if you keep on typing into an Excel sheet or into your application, it will take a lot of time again, right? Okay, so if you click on this analysis, it's going to fetch the data. So it will take a while here, and we can see the data in this section. Okay, you can see here. So now all this information can be fetched into an application which I have got internally for business requirements, so that I can call them back or I can send an email to them based on the details that I have got from this database, instead of looking into the visiting cards every time. Okay, now I will show, I'm not going through each and every option here because these are already the pre-built models where you can extract data from this unique document types. So now I'm going to train my own custom model, for which I'm going to use some sample documents which I have got generated, and I'm going to upload to this, and I'm going to train. In order to train this custom extraction model, I'm going to click on this. As I said already, you need to have minimum 5 sample documents which should be in the similar format, and you have to upload those documents to this Azure Document Intelligence custom extraction model, and you are going to label the values that you need, and then you have to click on the training. So here there are some projects which I'm not going to use it because these are not available now. I'm going to create a new project here, enter the project name. So now here I'm going to use, let's say, demo custom model, and description you can give, let's say, invoices model which I'm going to train. Click on continue. You have to select the subscription where you wanted to use this one. So if you have multiple subscriptions, you have to select the right one based on the business needs. Okay, so I'm going to use the resource group here, and AI service, which is document intelligence service. Click on this. Now there are multiple options again, this API versions based on the extraction models that it has got. So I'm going to use this, the latest model, which is in preview mode, which is fine. I'm going to use that one. Okay, so click on continue. So when you say that is in preview, means it is not available for production uses, it is still under development. So here, in order to connect your training data source, you have to have your storage account to be created. So let's see, I've selected this subscription resource group, and I don't have any storage account available in this resource group, on which I'm going to use this custom extraction model. So why do we need storage account? Because you're training this document intelligence extraction model using your own documents, but in order to save that documents, you have to use this storage account where it will be in encrypted format at rest. So you don't need to worry about data security. So click on this create new storage account because I don't have any storage account available. So here I'm going to give, let's say, demo storage account for extraction. I'm just giving some random numbers because to keep that storage account unique. And where do you want to create this storage account? I'm going to use this East US only because my data intelligence service is deployed in East US, and I'm going to use this East US for storage account as well. Now I need to choose this pricing tier. So as you know, there are different types of storage accounts available in Azure platform, LRS, GRS and RSGRS. I'm going to use this LRS to save the cost. Now you need to give the blob container name, which is nothing but a kind of folder which you are going to create under storage account. If you want more about this storage accounts, you can look at my Azure administration playlist. Okay, so now I'm going to give this container name, let's say I'm just typing some random name. Okay, and I've just got a blob container. I don't have any folder under that I don't want it, so I'm clicking on this continue. So create a project, it will take a while, it will get created, and then we can train our models using the receipts that we have got. Of custom extraction model, you're going to get the console like this, and here we need to upload the documents based on the requirement, and you need at least 5 documents need to be uploaded, and then you can train the model. Okay, let's see. I have used sample invoices which I have generated from a tool called Invoice Generator Online. The sample invoices are generated. So now I'm going to upload those files. So here I'm going to upload 5 files which are already there here, and then I'm going to use another file for my testing. So now I'm going to add a field. So here it means you need to add labels to this document for which field that you wanted to extract the data. Okay, so it means I'm going to train based on the labels. So here I'm going to add fields. Let's say I wanted to fetch the data of, let's say, the invoice number. Okay, you no need to give the same name as it is there on this document. It is up to you how you wanted to identify. Okay, I've given as invoice number. Now I'm going to give the total amount, and then I'm going to add, let's say, billing to. So these are the 3 values I wanted to fetch. I can add more values based on the detailed information that you want, but for this lab I'm going to use only these 3 values. So here I'll come back to this now, and so here I wanted invoice number, right? So I'll double click on this one. So I'm running the layout. So here it will come up with, yeah, here it is. Okay, after adding this value, you need to run the layout on all these documents, run the layout, and then you have to attach the labels that you wanted to connect. Okay, so and then run layout. So it means it is going to scan all this. Now coming to this invoice number, so here I will select this one, and where do you want to add this? It is an invoice number which this model need to identify. Select the invoice number, here it will come up. So now we are adding the required values to this required fields, and then we are going to use this train button to train this model so that whenever you upload similar kind of document, it will fetch these values. Now the total amount, so here is the total amount. Just double click on that and map it to that field. And what is the next one, which is bill to, is the one bill to this specific person or this address. Now I have trained one document, not a train, I've just mapped the values to these fields. Now I'm going to add similar values to the fields. Then at the end I'm going to use this train. So here the invoice is the first option. Select invoice, and then what is that total amount? Here I'm going to use total amount and then bill to. Similarly, I'm going to add this for the third invoice as well. So you need at least a minimum 5 documents. That's why I uploaded 5. You can go up to max, whatever that you want, and you need to train. Add it for the third document as well. So here, this is the invoice field which I need to add, and then total amount, and then bill to, and then invoice for the fourth document, total amount, and what is that next one, bill to. You have to just map the value. So you can add other values as well, depends on the fields that you have got generated. So I have left out multiple fields like shipping to, date, payment terms, and things like that, because this is just a lab and it will take a lot of time to add multiple fields and train it. So you can do it in your lab and you can add all the fields that are needed for your business. Okay, now I'm going to add the fifth field as well, which is fifth document. Again, the invoice number, billing to, and the total amount. Now I have added all the required fields and its values, which are mapped using this custom model. Now I have just mapped, but if I upload another file here, it's not going to identify when I run analysis, because you need to train this model. So in order to train this, you have to click on this train and you have to give the model name. So I will give, let's say, demo model training, whatever that you want. Okay, description, invoice model for business, and build mode. So it is always recommended to use this neural, which is the recommended approach. If I go with this template, it is a kind of document reading. So if you wanted to know more about these custom extraction models, you can have this option. So the neural is the one which it will accurately identify the data on your documents based on the neural extraction methods. So click on train. It will take up to 30 minutes or up to even an hour based on the documents that you have uploaded. So now the training is in progress. You can go to models, and here it is some models option, and you can see the status as running. So you will see the status as succeeded once this training is complete. After you train this model, you can test by uploading the document. Okay, so for now, as it is continuously running for 30 minutes, it's going to be running for 30 minutes. I'm going to pause it here and we'll come back in 30 minutes and then we will see how we can test this model. So after 30 minutes or so, our training model, which we have enabled for document intelligence, is completed. You can see that training is succeeded. Okay, now we will see how to test this trained model using our sample invoices which we have got. So there is an option called test, and here you have to upload the sample files which you have downloaded. So apart from the 5 files which I have already used to train, I'm going to use the sixth file and upload it here. So which also looks similar to my last 5 files which I have used it for training. And here I'm going to click on run analysis. So there is no labeling, no fields, nothing is there here because we have already trained the model. So based on that model, I'm going to get the output. So let's click on this run analysis. It will quickly run analysis and give you the output. So here it is, the total amount, invoice number. As soon as you place your mouse cursor here in this, it will also show from where this number is exactly fetching. Okay, and billing to this person, and you can see the confidence score which is showing us 98.80% because the more you documents you upload it to that custom extraction model for training and map that fields to the values, it's going to give the accurate results. Even if I go with this invoice number, it is giving me the 98%. So anything above 90 to 95% is, so anything above the accuracy of 98 to 98%, 95 to 98 or 90 above is well and good. So here we have got a good accuracy. So this is how you are going to train the custom models using this read layout, general documents, and this is about document analysis, which are predefined models, and these are also the models which are already pre-built, and we have used this custom model. Okay, so this classification model also can be used or build a custom classification model to split and classify the documents. Okay, if you wanted to classify the types of documents that are there on your repository, you can use this custom classification model and get it trained. Okay, so for now I'm not demonstrating this one, so take it as a task and try to do it in your lab and let me know if you've got any questions about this classic model. Okay, so the few things to consider when you are applying any machine learning model for any service, not only in Azure platform, in any platform, you have to use it ethically, which means when you are fetching the data from any of the documents, there might be the personal details, there might be the patient health records, right? So there might be the confidential information which should not be exposed to outside world, so for which you need to take care, and AI trainer who has applied that machine learning model is responsible to consider the business ethics and to consider the security and to consider the encryption of that data in when you are training this model. So please make sure the security is at most for any business, and make sure you follow all the best practices when you are implementing any machine learning model. So whatever you train, the output is going to be based on that. You need to be very careful when you are training any model. You need to consider the data, the transparency. You need to consider the common sense when you're applying the data. So that's it for this session. We'll come up with one more topic in my upcoming lecture. So I'm going to release the videos periodically based on the latest concepts which are there on this Azure AI services. Thank you for watching.